I do want to try to do like we did last week. Try to keep like a 20-minute discussion, then like a 25-minute discussion, 25-minute feedback. Just try to keep it tight so I can get it up sooner.
It's fine, man. I'm off work today. It's fine.
I'm not.
3-hour cast. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
I could do
Talk
it,
about
man.
every frame in the episode.
I could do it. This episode had so much good stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
I still I feel like I'm not going to be able to like accurately capture everything I want to say because which is why we do 2 episodes.
Save it for the cast.
And guess what? I got that doc, and so the internet. I got a wonderful doc from Cal Digit. It's like the best doc there is, and supplied to us by Cal Digit. Actually, thank you very much to Jordan Pierce, one of our patrons who helped us out. But because of that, I now have Ethernet instead of Wi-Fi. This is exciting because
you're looking real red on the Twitch there.
Oh Matt. Yeah. So that is me overcorrecting. Let me see if I can fix that. Are we on YouTube yet too? I was just making sure we're on both places.
I got the notification on my phone.
Oh, nice. So we should be good. Yep, it looks like we're live on both. Let me check let me double check why I'm so red. So, well, I know exactly why I'm so red. Like, for some, yeah, I'm really, really embarrassed. I was actually trying to get back to my regular skin tone because let me show you it without any fixing. I look super green actually. With this,
because your green screen's reflecting.
Yeah, and for some reason that's the one thing I don't like about this computer so far is the onboard camera is not great.
Do you not have your fancy camera connected?
So I do because I got the Cal Digit wonderful dock today, but I can't find my small, and I don't know if I left it in Dallas. I can't find my smaller. Do I look like? Yeah, that's pretty. But it looks better. Look less red now. There we go. That's probably good.
ADHD brain. Can't find your smaller.
I can't find my smaller. I'll show you. I'll show you what it looks like.
Is it the tripod?
Tripod. Thank you. I can't find my smaller tripod, so this is what I currently look like if I'm using my other camera. Which you guys tell me which looks better. Hold on. Turn the. Where is it? Oh, I didn't insert it here yet. Here it is. It looks better.
You're not there.
Wait, I'm not where?
Oh, there you are. Oh God.
Yeah.
there were 2 of you for a moment.
Yeah, there were. There's so that's the angle that I have right now. Is like way up high, and it makes me look like I'm like looking down here, which I am. So I'm just going with the onboard today. But the color's a little weird. Turned off the wrong things. Boop. But yeah, that's closer to my color.
I see.
Sorry. A lot of things a lot of thought processes went into this setup today.
You got the actual coffin name on Jay Scott's face.
Yes, I do. Boop, boop. There we go. I'm going to get some water, and then if you guys are ready, we'll get started right away.
Okay. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
That's one of the... I love that.
What was the one they did for Kraken Ag?
Well, yeah. That
I can't
was,
remember, but it was really good.
Oh, God. I don't remember. I thought it was How Now Brown Cow, wasn't it?
No, that was Anchorman.
Yeah. And that's what I went down the path of.
Oh, yeah. I recognize that.
Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather.
Red leather, yellow leather. That is tough.
That's
Red
tough,
leather, yellow leather.
You want a real bad one. Unique New York.
Unique. Oh wow, yeah. Unique New York. Wow, that is tough. One that I would do as a kid, it's a little different, but if you try to say like toy boat over and over again, Just like try to say it like 3 or 4 times in a row and see what happens.
Toy boat, tube. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Came around the bend. I was like, that's not that bad. There it is.
Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat.
Toy boat. Toy boat. There was this trend on TikTok that I saw that I was absolutely in love with it. Where they would try to say, 1 sock cutter, he cuts socks. 2
Okay.
sock cutters, they cut socks. 3 sock cutters, they cut socks. Just like that, but like quickly.
1 sock cutter, he sucks. I didn't even make it through 1.
There it is. There it is. And that's exactly what happened to everybody. And like they would stop and look at the camera like
That's great.
it was so funny.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to keep that one in the back pocket.
And there were some people that I follow that have Tourette's. So they're like raising Tourette's awareness. And they were also doing that challenge. So like when they screwed up and they got anxious about it and the tics kicked in, like some of the tics just made it even worse. Like they just went off the deep end on screwing it up. It's like, oh no. It was hilarious.
Yeah, so I guess TikTok is a good space for that awareness, because I remember you guys were talking a couple weeks back about some of the other, like, was it that the same guy that you were saying was like basically like putting different things on his head?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that guy. It was a different. Apparently, I ended up on Tourette's talk. I don't know.
Okay.
But I followed that guy, and he's fucking hilarious too. Like, he recently did one where he was like baking with Tourette's and ADHD, and it was like he was trying to make a key lime pie.
Okay.
And the first shot in the video is like he's walking up with a dozen eggs, and he just throws all of them at the ceiling.
Wow.
The whole dozen smashes against the ceiling, and then starts dripping down. And he's just like,
Check.
fuck, and like he throws the carton at the sink, like, god damn it.
Oh man.
And then the next, like, it cuts, and then the next shot, he has sunglasses on his head. I guess he went to the store to get more eggs.
Check.
Because you gotta, I guess.
Yeah.
Hello.
And he's like,
Okay.
at the end of it, he's like, I made a thing, look. And it's a nice looking key lime pie, and then he just throws it up in the air. He's like, no.
Oh.
And he catches it on the plate, but it's like a taco at this point.
Right.
Okay.
It's all
And
crushed.
he's like, oh no. And like, he tries to separate it, and it just crumbles in his hands, and he's like,
It's just done.
Yeah, that's rough.
so defeated. It was so funny.
That's awesome that they can channel that,
Right.
in a way to spread awareness and like, bring some level of joy to themselves, I have to imagine.
Yeah. And the fact that they're sort of inviting people in to be like, I don't know. It's interesting. Like, part of me, like, I don't want to laugh because like the guy is, I mean, that sucks. Like, that really sucks. But at the same time, you're right though. It brings awareness, but it's also entertaining. It's weird.
Yeah, it's really like the thing that has to happen is that they, as the person afflicted and the content creator, they have to be able to take it in stride and allow us to laugh at it. Like, it has to be okay for us to laugh at it in order for it to be, as funny as it is, basically. Because otherwise, like, if they just get mad and they don't take it in stride, then like I mean, it's nice to have that awareness, but like it comes off differently, it has a whole different connotation.
Right, which yeah, this is getting way too serious about this. Let's get into Falcon Instructor. But I was gonna say, like, yeah, but it's weird because it's like, are they? It's kind of like they're taking their actual problems and taking them in stride so it can be entertaining, which, like, that feels weird to me. It's hard for me to
taking it in stride
because
because of TikTok, or
Right.
is that their life?
Right.
You know,
So
or
that they
taking
can
it
like
started life.
create content, and then it feels weird, feels different. But yeah, you know, I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about Falcon Winter Soldier and get into lots of other dicey topics, because that's all we do these days, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
that's our calling now.
That's our calling now. Okay, are you ready, Jeff?
No.
To say your thing. Okay, well, let me say to the chat real quick. By the way, we are streaming today on both Twitch and YouTube. If you are watching us in either place and you're watching us on a desktop, feel free to open a tab, have us streaming in the other one as well, because it just ups our numbers. Especially YouTube. We're very close to hitting a benchmark we need to on YouTube. And so if you're watching and you're a fan and you just want to support, stream us both places. But no need. We're happy that any of you are here at all. What is up? Oh, happy Friday, Pandas from J. Scotty for real. Who's that guy?
Who's that guy indeed?
And then let's see, who we got in the chat? Flaming Dagger, Sophia S. Welcome. Nutty Buddy Entertainment. Oh, those are all over on YouTube. I'm looking at the YouTube. So sweet. Yeah. So we're gonna do a live watch here or not a live watch. We're gonna do a discussion, our instant reaction of Falcon Winter Soldier, which we just watched on the live watch, and then let you guys be communicating with J. Scotty St. Clair. He will. Is it J. Scotty for real in chat? Is that right?
Correct. JSCOTTY 4 REEL.
Okay. So if you guys tag him at him on YouTube or Twitch, he should be able to see it easier. And thank you for the Hell Hydrates and the stretch. It is early. Oh, by the way, we are supported by the bits and tips given to the Twitch channel, and I think there's even a way to tip on YouTube, but I don't know. We're brand new to YouTube, so if you're watching on YouTube, I don't know how it works yet. But
I think we have to hit monetization first.
Oh, that's true. We're real close. Woo.
Woo.
So if you are watching on Twitch, we are supported by the bits, tips, and subscriptions on there, and you can do that either with money, or you can go to strandedpanda.com/Jeff2Jeff if you have a Amazon Prime subscription, and it'll teach you how to subscribe for free. And it's literally like every month you can send us $2 for free. It's super great. Let's get started.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, indeed.
I was looking at Madam Hydra on Wikipedia to kind of like get a refresher.
Okay, that is Madam Hydra.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that. Okay. Or should we save it for the cast?
You can still ask me about it. But like on Wikipedia, they've already got it updated that the character's portrayed by Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
That's so great.
The MCU Disney Plus series.
All right. Or Viper, Odin Sword says.
Yep.
Someone Odin Sword says 1,000 YouTube plus streaming hours. Yeah, it's crazy. And I didn't know how long it would take us to get there, but yeah, it's to get monetization on YouTube, you have to get 1,000 YouTube subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, which means like people watching your content for 4,000 hours, which is why I'm like, go double stream if you want to.
Right.
Because it's crazy. Thank you. There's like 19 of y'all over there now. But yeah, we're almost there. We're like 35,000 right, or no, 3,500 now of watch hours. Okay, we're gonna get started.
So close.
So close. You guys ready to record?
I'm already recording.
Okay, I'm gonna hit record now.
Just one.
And
second.
Jeff, whenever you're ready.
Man, that's great.
What's that?
My levels are so much more stable with all these sound panels up.
Oh, great. Yeah, because it's not bouncing around as much.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an investment I'll need to make eventually anyway too.
I just realized I took mine down and took them to Dallas, and I did not set them back up. All right, I'm gonna sound bad today. It's okay. Let's do it.
Cool. Hang on. I'm trying to get the Switch account. I'm trying to add to our YouTube numbers. Gotta
okay.
get that 4K. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're close. But
I mean,
don't slow down your streaming to do that though.
Oh no, dude. This computer.
Oh yeah, you got the faster stuff now. I'm very excited about that. That's super.
This
rad.
processor is ridiculous.
That's awesome, man.
I've got
so awesome.
like 3 times the compute power that I used to have. It's crazy. Anyway, okay.
Awesome. Me.
I get some monster for the monster.
You know, it's funny, these morning casts, the birds are always tweeting. So when I'm editing, there's just like... It's nice.
I'm sure I contribute a fair amount to that as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yep. We're just going to have to mute him.
Oh, let me fix Jay Scott. All right. He's not centered anymore. You gotta center that staircase. Okay.
Oof.
Go when you're ready, Jeff.
Oh God, what was it called? Truth. It's called Truth.
Tits up.
Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, we are discussing The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 5, Truth. All that and more references that we have no control over.
All right. Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
And I'm Jeff Randall.
And in our producer chair, we have the incomparable J. Scotty St. Clair. How you doing, buddy?
Doing excellent. Thanks for having me back. How are you guys?
Dude, it's great to have you. It's great to have you. I'm so pumped to talk about this episode with you guys today. What are your initial thoughts? Like, what'd you think?
The Scotty corner.
Yeah, the Scotty corner.
Gets a corner. Scotty gets a corner.
Yeah.
Nobody puts Scotty in the corner except
nobody puts Scotty in.
Nobody except puts Scotty in the corner, except if it's to have a Scotty corner.
That's right. For me, I gotta say right off the bat, like, this is one of my favorite episodes of the season. We didn't get the most action, but the action that was there really packed a punch. And then, like, as far as just Sam and Bucky's relationship, it came so full circle in this episode. That's my big takeaway. I'm riding real high.
Yeah, me too.
The love that those guys share for each other, like, you can just see it. Those guys, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan are such good actors, and the way that they portray the nuance and subtlety of two guys that, like, are, you know, they're the manly men, but, like, they absolutely love each other and would be there in a heartbeat for each other. It's so good.
Yeah, there's so many great moments in this, and we'll get into all that. I absolutely love that relationship and the way it's portrayed in this, and finally get Bucky opening up a little bit. And I love the smile that flashes across Sam's face when Bucky finally opens up, because it's like he knows this soldier's not going to take him forcing advice on him, but he knows when Bucky is ready that he's going to open up and ask for help. And that's what happens. And it's in that moment that this flash smiles across it. Yeah. This smile flashes across Sam's face, and he's like, oh, it's advice time. Like, I'm allowed now. He is asking me. He's like giving me permission to step into his world and tell him what I think, you know? And that's such a great moment. Speaking of the action, you mentioned, Jay Scotty, like, packing a punch. That first scene, I agree. There's very little action in this. Last episode, we had 3 wonderful action set pieces, but none of them were as emotionally driven as this. This actually reminded me a lot of Civil War.
Yes.
Like that whole fight sequence. And I mean, not only is it like a tech guy fighting a super soldier while Bucky runs around in the background, but like it's also... It's not the only reason it's like that. It also just had this emotional weight and like grittiness to it, where they're just grabbing the shield and throwing it down. It was just so good. It's so gritty and real. And none of the there 3, like I said, 3 fight sequences last episode. None of them felt like this one smaller fight sequence, really. And it's so contained. It's also in a big concrete structure. Like, it's very Civil War. This is. Oh yeah. I loved it. I loved it.
I love that you break it down to its core, you know? It's like it's Bucky and Captain America are in the same room with a guy that can fly. That's
literally
that's
a guy with
thing.
literally a guy with Stark tech.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the parallels were not lost on me.
Yeah.
Um,
When you get to its core, shifting allegiances, whatever. But no, like, you're right in that there was so much emotional weight in that scene. Like it packed a punch.
yeah. And even though Walker is not, they're fighting a guy who we view as a villain. I think at least at this moment he is a villain. I think he has a possibility of redemption still, but I think he is a villain in this moment. And like, he is, even though he's a villain, I still understood his motivation in a way that like was similar to how I feel when I'm watching Civil War. It's just wonderful. Anyway,
and the way that he's just having that breakdown over Lamar.
Yeah.
And like, why didn't I listen to you? Why didn't I? Just questioning himself, and then he tries to convince himself, and I guess he does convince himself, or at least he's leaning into the lie that the guy that he killed is the guy that killed Lamar,
right?
Just so that he can be okay with what he did. And oh god, and all that blood on the shield, and
the blood on the shield. Two amazing iconic shots. One is every time you see the blood on the shield is amazing, but like when he is kneeling in that beam of sunlight and thinking about Lamar and just like really struggling with what he just did, that is really intense and a beautiful and iconic shot. And then after the battle, and Sam looks with like tears in his face, like tears behind his eyes. He's not actually crying, but like you can tell the emotions are so raw, and he is wiping the blood off the shield. Like this shield means so much to him, as it does to Bucky, and that's what the show is about. How much this symbol, how much this friend of theirs, Steve, means to them, and him wiping the shield of the blood. Like, oh my goodness, it's great.
I know we need to move on, but this is just the last thing I want to say about that fight sequence. Like, a lot of people have been talking about how with like 6 episodes, you've got like the 2 episode act structure, and like by the end of this episode we were supposed to be at the lowest point, or at the end of the last episode, excuse me, but by the end of this fight, that is when we were at the lowest point. And like you mentioned, that moment with Sam trying to wipe that blood off, that's when you get the full gravity of how badly the shield has been tainted. And one of the takeaways for me is how Bucky left the shield there with Sam, and at that point it shows where their relationship is still at that point, the way he just kind of like leaves it there begrudgingly, but by the end of the episode, he wants Sam to have the shield, and he reveals that he was part of that plan with Steve to actually make him the man to have the shield, and the apology that he gives him just so poignant.
It's so good.
The way that he laid down the shield, again, Sebastian Stan being a fantastic actor, it looked to me like he was saying, like, look what you did by giving this away, like this blood on the shield is on you, and then he just lays it down. To your point though about the act structure of 6 episodes, like it feels like this episode was equivalent to like OG Avengers, where Steve and Tony are sitting at the table on the helicarrier, and Nick is talking to them about Phil Coulson having been stabbed, and like giving them the playing card or the trading cards or whatever, like the Captain America trading cards. It's like it's that moment where like the crescendo happened, and we lost someone, and the someone that we lost was Captain America.
Ooh.
Ouch. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just came up with that top of my head.
It is them. It is them. It is kind of that. Except the death and then the refusal of the shield sort of drove them apart for a while, And even in this episode, they fought alongside each other, learned to trust each other even more, but they're still like not partners, or like we're sort of partners. We're coworkers, like
colleagues.
That whole scene.
Couple of guys.
Just a couple of guys.
With a mutual friend.
And now we're just a couple of guys. Friend's gone.
Friend's gone. So now we're just a couple of guys.
It's so much fun. Anyway, Jay Scotty, we're going to send you, if you're all right with it, to your feedback cave. He's going to collect some feedback. Those of you in the live chat, you can send in your feedback and tag at J Scotty for real, and he will see it. And if you're listening to this and you would like to join the live watch and be a part of the conversation on the days these happen, this whole year, every time we've got this we're doing these 8 a.m. live watch. Every time we've got a new episode, we're doing an 8 a.m. live watch and a 9 a.m. podcast on Twitch and YouTube. And you can come join us and be a part of the conversation right away when these things drop. It's just a lot of fun. So, buddy, Jeff, I think this episode is a masterpiece. And I love where we've gotten with this show, and that they took the time to, like, this episode is mostly about building a boat. You know what I mean? Like, like that's
repairing a boat.
From a time perspective, they spend more time on that boat and than anything else. But there's so many iconic and amazing things in this episode. The Isaiah Bradley conversation, coming back to that story, coming back to the sister story, coming back to the Yori story, which they haven't done yet, but they talk about that's got to be what they're talking about when they talk about going and giving someone closure.
Yeah,
I no doubt that the last episode we're going to get Winter Soldier going to see Yori and give him closure about his son's death.
Mr. Nakajima, as he told Unique. No, I like the. When I first watched, I said, it's so funny. Like, I did a bunch of just mouth sounds because I couldn't form the sentence at first. So on first watch of this particular episode, last night, middle of the night, I thought to myself at the end of it, I was like, man, that was a really slow episode. I don't know that it was my favorite, and then I sat with it for a little bit, and then. As I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm thinking about the things that happened, and I was like, no, this had so much weight to it. And then on the second watch, it finally really hit me just how much emotional.
Good things come to those who work. So let's get to work.
All right.
Oh, sorry, my phone did a thing. I was trying to send myself my notes while you're talking, and my phone started playing a YouTube video for no reason. Sorry, continue.
Great work. But on second watch is really when it hit me just how much emotional weight this episode had, and how much this was. I don't want to say a character building moment, but a relationship building moment.
Right.
And
well, it's a lot of resolution to a lot of the things they set up in the first episode.
Right. I kind of feel like the boat though is this might be I might be overstepping my escapism podcast bounds, but it kind of feels like the boat is a metaphor for America. We can fix it together if we all come together and bring all of our unique skills together.
Sure.
To do the thing.
It's also just the idea of asking for help when you need it, which I have problems with.
Yeah,
and
I know.
That's honestly,
why I made the GoFundMe.
Exactly. Well, I was gonna say that scene reminded me of the GoFundMe from 2 weeks ago.
So this episode, the boat was a metaphor for your computer.
For this episode of the podcast that is happening now, because I'm finally able to use the new computer right now.
Right.
Just the thing that she said, or that Sam said, they're struggling and they give and give and give and give, and it reminded me of my mom too, because she's a big giver. She gives with her time, and also she's going through a lot of hard times right now, and learning to walk again, and she's done so much for so many people her whole life, and those people are all turning around now and helping her, and trusting those relationships, and I don't, by comparing it to the GoFundMe and the podcast, I don't in any way intend to compare it to what Sam's family did or what my mom has done, but we made a podcast, people liked it, and then when we were in need, people turned around and helped us get the podcast to continue. That's the same sort of relationship, and like that was very meaningful to me thinking about that situation. It's very meaningful to me thinking about my mom, and
You're gonna make me cry, Matt.
no, yeah, like
Got
it's all of those things are very, very apropos of what's going on in this episode, and him just being willing to ask for help for his sister. So thank you, Jeff, for being willing to make that GoFundMe. You were Sam in the situation. I was the sister, and I got flirted with by Bucky though, so I'm okay with it.
I don't think that's how it works.
But no, yeah, it's really cool, and it also from a political position, like this is mutual aid. You know,
Yeah.
One of the big things that the sort of like Black Lives Matter movements and things, like they can't always rely on the institutions to help them, so they are forming collectives to be able to help each other, you know,
Yeah.
to be able to do things for each other, and that is very much what is going on here. And it came immediately after the line, America will never let there be they'll never let there be a black Captain America, and no self-respecting black man would want to be.
Oh, God, rip my heart out, why don't you?
Yeah.
Like that whole Isaiah Bradley monologue,
Yeah.
I'll call it. Like that whole
The scene,
sequence
yeah.
of him talking about what happened. Like I was weeping at the end of it.
I was weeping before when he was walking into Isaiah Bradley's house with the shield that Isaiah was never able to get. I didn't know, and it was perfect for the character. Sorry, this episode was really emotional for me.
It was just in general.
Yeah. But when he goes to Isaiah Bradley's house and like he's holding the shield in that bag, I started crying like when he's outside walking toward the house, because I was like, oh, Isaiah never got the shield, you know?
Yeah.
Isaiah was a
'Cause it was
super
frozen.
soldier, and but like he never got the metaphorical shield. He was never allowed to be Captain
Right.
America. He never got the mantle passed to him. He was instead thrown in jail because they feared him and they just experimented on him. And I thought we were going to get a scene of Sam saying like, this should have been yours, and like, here's the shield, this should have been yours. And instead we got a scene of Isaiah Bradley rightfully angry and saying like, leave that in the bag. Those stars and stripes don't mean anything to me.
Yeah. Or no, they not just they don't mean anything, but they don't mean anything good to me.
Oh gosh, he had another line in there that is just hit me real hard too. If you ain't bitter, you're blind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God. And like, oh man. And this episode, not just the emotional weight of what's happening in this episode, but like this episode goes to look back at episode 1 and be like, if you don't think that the scene in the bank was some sort of systemic racism, then you are fucking blind. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not pissed off at what has happened to Sam because of the color of his skin, there is something wrong with you. Like, that's just it makes it all so poignant. And I'm mad on Sam's behalf. And I'm mad, I don't know, I'm mad at the people that have written in and be like, oh, it wasn't racist. Like, you're wrong. You're patently wrong.
Well, and that's the thing, is I don't think that these people that are saying that, some of them are wrong. Some of them are just patently wrong. And some of them, their definitions are different. You know? Like, they're saying, when they say that's not racism, they're saying that banker wasn't necessarily racist. He didn't hate Sam. I was raised to believe racism was just when you hated someone of another race. That was the definition of racism, and I did not believe it was anything else. So every time someone was like, this is racism, I would say, no, that person doesn't hate them. That person just can't give them a loan because of this. But now, that's what systemic racism is the idea that, like, you can't get a bank loan because even though your father was a pillar of the community, his community, and like... And that's the thing, is he couldn't get a bank loan, but they could rely on their community, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
There's a lot of emotion in
There
this
is.
whole series.
It's like I need you to take over because I'm gonna cry if I talk more.
Okay. So, what's something that we can talk about with Matt to get him off the crying? Oh, how about when Sam says, "How do we get this off the truck?" and then it just lifts up. Who did you think it was?
Oh, I
you
loved
think
it.
it was somebody else?
No, I guess I saw it was Sam pretty quickly, but I loved.
was
by
Bucky.
the time I realized what was going on, I saw it was Sam or Bucky. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that.
For a brief moment, I was like, "Did somebody else? Is that Isaiah?" Like, I was going through
that
the
would've
list
been
of
nice.
possible super soldiers that could have lifted it. I was like, did Carly show up? Like, is she on his side? Did she?
That would've
make
been weird.
turn? Yeah, like, did she make that turn real early?
Yeah.
Like, I was going through the list and then it was like, oh yeah, duh, it's Bucky, obviously. God, you fucking idiot.
Isaiah
What
Bradley
about
could have been great as well. If we're going through a list, like how weird would it have been if it was John Walker, like trying to make peace with things, right? Like, what a
especially with that broken arm.
right? What a freaking supervillain has been created in John Walker, right?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand all the people that think he's just doing this stuff, but this episode, clearly he has crossed the Rubicon. He is like now, he's gone over the rainbow or whatever. He is a villain. He is.
Don't you bring the Bifrost into this. He's crossed a line.
He's
Yes.
crossed the line, and he did not that he did anything. It's just his motivations now have shifted. He's no,
Yeah.
and it shows. He is
Like yelling at the Senate about, like, I am Captain America. You created me. You made this, and then I just did what you told me to. Like, first off, no. Like, that is not what Captain America is about. Captain America is about the idea of free freaking thinking and doing the right thing, not just what you're told to do, sir. Like, that's your problem. That's what makes you different. That's what makes Steve better than you. There's a graphic that was shared in the Stranded Panda chat that I love so much. Like, when Steve Rogers introduced himself, regardless of whether or not he was wearing the Captain America mantle, the any of his outfit, whatever, it was always, I'm Steve Rogers. Hello, I'm Steve Rogers. It was never Steve Rogers, Captain America. Like, it was never, hi, I'm Captain America. But that's how John leads it every time. It's, hi, John Walker, Captain America. Like, the Captain America mantle is more important to him than who he is as a person. And with Steve, it was always, I'm Steve Rogers. The Captain America thing, that's for show, whatever. This is who I am. I'm being this guy.
It's really the difference between Steve, Sam, and Bucky, and then John Walker is that this is not a perfect thing I'm about to say, but I think that, like, they think of as normally things I say are perfect, but this is not going to be one of those. Just so you're warned. It's rare. It's rare that I'm not perfect, but right here.
I'm glad that you have the understanding that what's about to happen is not, so I can prepare myself.
This is not normal, so just brace yourself.
Okay.
I think that they view it based on their actions, not their words. They view being Captain America as a responsibility to uphold.
Mm-hmm.
And John Walker, even though he's talked about the responsibility and the heavy weight of it in the first episode, his actions and the way he has acted, and the way he's spoken about it in these last few episodes show that he thinks of it as a thing to own, a thing that he deserves, instead of thinking of it as a responsibility to live up to, which he did talk about, but it's not the way he's shown himself to act, I guess.
Yeah.
And definitely in that scene where he's just standing in front of that committee, it's just such a supervillain origin story. And I don't think he's done anything crazy yet since he's done this turn. I mean, he did last episode, but I'm very
his
interested.
Arm's been broken, so.
Right.
Sorry.
That's true. Yeah. He hasn't done anything. Well, this episode he did try to kill Sam, directly lifted his shield to bash Sam's skull in, just like he did in the last episode. And it was scary. there were some theories that I've heard going around, or some ideas, and so it'll probably be in the feedback episode. But somebody wrote in one that was like, Sam will be horribly injured, and the only way to save his life will be the super soldier serum.
Right.
And that like Bucky or someone like that will inject him with the super soldier serum. And I don't think that necessarily works like canon wise. Like I don't know that the serum would work that way, but like, I don't know. I could see something like that happening. And then when he like lifted up the thing, I was like, oh no, he's going to get really injured. Oh no. Here it comes.
He got his wings torn off. That's
he did.
injury.
That is injury for Falcon. I want him to have the wings.
I think he's going to. I think because like we had the shit. What's the Kevin Spacey thing?
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
7.
Yeah, 7.
Right.
7. Okay. Brad Pitt yells "What's in the box" over and over.
Right. So we're left here as Brad Pitt. What's in the box? Like we know what's in the box. It's his new suit, and it's got wings, but it's also very much Captain America. However, the wings got torn off and given to Joaquin Torres, who's going to be the new Falcon, and I'm so here for it. Yeah. I'm so excited to see. I want to see Joaquin show up in the heat of battle in the next episode. Just like, I fixed the wings, I think. Whoa! And like, he's not quite used to flying yet, but like, he's still helpful. Idea. He's so it would be so great.
I love that idea so much. Let's see what else. Before we turn to the chat, what else do we have that we have not discussed yet? Let me check out my notes for a second. I normally email them to myself so they're on my computer, but they're not today. So let me scan this real quick.
Yeah. While you're just checking your notes, it's a lighter thing, but I really loved the budding potential romance between Sarah and Bucky and how much that rubs Sam the wrong way.
That's just always great. That's always a good joke. Like it's in so many things, but I love it. Like the friend flirting with the friend's sister. It's just always very funny.
Yeah. I love that he was like, don't flirt with my sister, or else I'll have Carlos cut you up and throw you, like feed you to the fish. It's like, oh shit, he's serious.
Oh man.
One of the like
left of the Winter Soldier lines. After that.
Yeah, right. One of those itty bitty lines that like really made me chuckle is when the pipe was spewing and like Sam was trying to fix it and Bucky's like, no, you gotta, and like he does it, but he does it with his right hand.
Yeah.
And then and then Sam's like, why didn't you use the metal arm or the metal hand? And he's like, well, I don't always think of it immediately because I'm right-handed.
That's so good. That is such a funny joke that like it's so high caliber of a joke that it should have been. These are so movie quality. The movie quality writing on this is just killing me. I love it so much. Yep. Let me run through a few of my notes here because just one thing, we did a rewatch this morning. I always start the rewatch at like 6 in the morning because that's when I wake up, and I just rewatch the last 2 episodes while I'm preparing and setting up. And something I realized, two major things I realized, I guess 3. Once Sam has the shield, Carly is all about killing the symbol that is Captain America. She even says killing Sam would mean nothing. We have to kill Captain America. Like that will mean something. And what I realized is like once Sam has the shield, which has now happened, and he's now got his new red, white, and blue suit probably, what that will mean is Carly is going to want to kill him. Even though she likes him and has respect for him, she is going to want to kill Sam for her cause and will probably convince herself that that's the right thing to do. I hope she can overcome it, but I don't know. Another thing is like, and Zemo I think is off the table now, but I think Zemo
taken to the raft.
Like it just watching last episode, I realized how much Zemo would want to kill Walker, and like I really wonder if he goes to the raft, and we talk about this Thunderbolts thing. If he goes to the raft, and now we've got this other character of Walker who seems like he might be ripe for Thunderbolts as well. That could easily lead to them being on a team together, which I think could be fascinating. Like Zemo being on a team with this guy who he definitely wants to kill. You know? I don't know. And really, he'd want to kill all of them. You know what I mean? Like, if he ended up on the Thunderbolt somehow, like, he'd constantly be wanting to kill everyone on his team. That's just a fun character to me.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a constant thing of the Thunderbolts, though, is like they're all, you know, other than the heroes that were leading it, like I think Hawkeye at one point was leading it, like they all of the other people like just constantly hate everybody else on the team, so they're just like trying to nip at them and you know, maybe get them killed.
Why do you think Zemo doesn't want to kill Bucky?
I don't know, man. Like he said he came to terms with it. He holds no grudges for what he thought he had to do.
Yeah, like what is he talking about there?
I don't know.
I wrote that line down. I hold no grudges for what you thought you had to do. Like, what? What is the thing that he thought he had to do? I have no idea. And like, I'm thinking like their previous relationship, all we know is like Zemo murdered T'Chaka in his name. And then like they had to fight Bucky never did anything to Zemo. Zemo and Bucky wasn't involved in the Sokovia situation at all. What did he have to do? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Turn him over to the Dor Milaje, maybe? But like it seems like that decision had been made before he knew that. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a weird line that I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. When they were grabbing the shield off of Walker's hand and it was just slipping out, slowly pulling away from the band. I'm sorry, I put my hands in front of my microphone. And it was like slipping out and it was slowly pulling away from the bands. I was like, lucky Peter Quill isn't there, you know?
Yep.
to interrupt this process.
Lucky Peter Quill isn't there to hit him in the face and interrupt the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then they broke his arm. Ew.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. The other thing I realized watching last week's episode, that I think is an important point in the difference between Carly and Walker. Carly is talking about making more super soldiers that episode. She's discussing whether they should. And she's discussing it with her second in command. She's having a conversation with someone she trusts and asking their perspective on what she's doing. She's not only taking her own counsel. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Walker does ask Lamar, what would you do if you had the chance to take the serum? So he tries to get his perspective, but he's keeping the fact that he has that opportunity to himself. So even though he's like sort of having the same conversation, he's very much keeping it a secret because he knows what he wants to do, and he knows Lamar would stop him or like would probably not be on board. I don't know. Like there's a weird thing there.
Lamar did say like repeatedly, like you got 3 Congressional Medals of Honor, like you're such a great soldier, you've always done the right thing in the heat of battle. Like hype man.
Sure. But that's
I don't
before
know that
that's
he would necessarily stop him.
That's without him knowing though. He also knows that he's dangerous though. He knows that he doesn't deal with his problems right all the time. He says you got to stop fighting all your problems by punching them. Like he knows that Walker is a little unstable, and I think if actually faced with that choice, he might have gotten some pushback. And I just think it's notable that even if he wouldn't have gotten some pushback, I think it's notable that he kept it a secret nonetheless. You know?
Well, so you remember when Carly was saying that, you know, they after they took the serum, or after they had the serum injected or whatever, like it felt like her veins were on fire.
Yeah.
And she would have welcomed death. We never got a sequence of that with John, with John Walker.
Yeah.
So like, how long does that last is my question. But
yeah,
I'm starting to think that maybe in that moment when he was asking Lamar what he thought, and he's like leaning on the table with his head in his hands, like, you know, it looks like he's hungover, but like, I think he might be struggling with, like, he might have already taken the serum at that point and might be struggling with the feeling of like
the pain,
you know, his veins on fire, the pain. And
that's possible. It just doesn't seem he doesn't
They're
seem
not leading
too
us
distracted.
to that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's definitely possible. It's definitely, and even if he doesn't have that actively happening, it's still like he's still dealing with this new power and different feelings in his body that he doesn't understand or know. It's just like, even if he's gonna take
the super, going through some changes.
Walker, you're gonna get some hair in some strange places.
I just imagine Steve Rogers like turning a chair around, sitting down, like, your body's going through some changes. I know a thing or two about that.
That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, I think, like, either way, I think Lamar would have given him some wisdom that he may not have wanted at that moment. I think, like, taking it while he's still out in the field was a mistake, while he's still actively pursuing a suspect, while he doesn't have time to train. Like, it was all a mistake. And I think Lamar might have given him some of that advice, but instead Walker kept it a secret. And I think that, like, I think often in superhero media, the thing that is the line between a hero and a villain is often a villain only takes their own counsel, really, and, like, keeps secrets and keeps things to themselves, while a hero, did I say hero? Anyway, a hero actually has friends who support them and keep them on the straight and narrow, you know, help them have guard posts in their life that, like, guide them to correct answers, you know?
Right, right.
We saw the same thing in Age of Ultron when Tony decided to compartmentalize information, and we saw the fallout of that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Tony's a villain. I've been saying it.
Tony is a villain, a lovable villain, but he is a villain.
He is the MCU's biggest villain. The biggest problem.
Definitely the biggest cause of villains, and that's kind of it's the Batman story. You know, it's like, like when Vision's like, whatever, the power invites whatever challenge, right? It's like, no, Iron Man just keeps inviting challenge. Like, that's what's happening.
Not only is it Iron Man's existence that, like, is creating challenges, but, like, he was on the news specifically saying, "This is my address. Come at me, bro.
Come challenge me." Yeah.
Right?
I kind of want a recut of that scene with Thanos when he's like, "I hope they remember you," and it's like, well, how could we forget? This guy's messed up pretty much everything.
I wish we could forget him. Jesus.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, like, this whole age of heroes that has been created by Tony Stark. Like, he started this whole thing. We have yet to really explore the question, and I guess we kind of are with the Sokovia Accords, is like, are heroes a good thing? And I love that this universe is not afraid to sort of ask that question, even though it's their bread and butter. They're still, like, willing to talk about, you know, like, should heroes be a little more controlled? What's the way to do this? How should we be using this force, you know? I just love this universe. I love it. We get a Rocky montage this episode.
Oh yeah,
we did.
Very
Complete
much
with kids chasing him. Gray sweatsuit.
Gray sweatsuit. That gray sweatsuit scene I loved because he's wearing almost the same gray sweatsuit at one point. It has, like, the long pants. It looks just like what Rocky wears, but they kind of kept him in silhouette so as not to be, like, too, like, on the nose. They showed him in other shots with, like, shorts and t-shirts, but there's one shot where he's, like, actually wearing a gray sweatsuit, and I was like, yes, that's totally a Rocky reference.
He was probably like, you know what, I need a Rocky montage to do some training. He puts on the gray sweatsuit and he's like, oh shit, I forgot, I'm in New Orleans. This is an awful idea. It's muggy as shit.
He only does it for, like, a scene where he's, like, under a tree and silhouetted in darkness. So it's like, yeah, that's the only place you can wear that in the South at that time
right, and it's
year.
Still hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the humidity.
We find out this episode that yes, Bucky knew that he was going to pass the shield to Sam. He told him that was what he was planning.
Yep.
But he says, like,
got that right.
He says, when Steve told me what he was planning, I think now we know, we didn't know for sure before, and I think we do now, that Bucky knew he was planning to spend his life with Peggy, or at least go back in time and stay there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I love that. I love that he talked to his best friend, and I wish we would have gotten that scene. I know why we didn't, like, but I kind of wish we still would, you know, like, if we got a Bucky show, I wish we'd get an old man Cap, like, telling him, you know, that's just such a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wouldn't have been old man Cap telling him. It would have been, you know, young.
That's true.
I was about to call him
Right,
Steve
right.
Evans or Chris Rogers. Like,
Unless
I blended him.
so I say that, and I was thinking the same thing. It would have had to been young Steve, but it could have been old Steve who came to Bucky 3 weeks ago, right? And said,
"Oh yeah,
that still could be a beautiful scene." Like
he comes to Bucky, he's like, "Hey, I'm Steve Rogers." He's like, "I don't know.
I don't know about that. Yeah,
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, you're gonna go say goodbye to me now." Or like he could have showed up like right before they walk up to the platform. You know, it could have been like that. Like could have been when Bucky was putting his arm on that morning or whatever.
Yeah.
Old Steve's like, "This is our last chance to talk because I'm gonna need to talk to Sam later." That's
yeah. Be sure
fun.
to stand exactly right here to kind of block the view of me from Sam. This is where I'm gonna be. So.
They really coordinated it. They did some blocking. Yeah.
It was like a flash mob kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
There's like a whole time and trial and error sequence where they both travel back and forth.
Yeah,
just right.
Like every time Sam's like, "Who's that?" He's like, "Damn it."
Last thing we touched on a little bit, but Val. We think this is Madam Hydra. Who is this lady? Who is Val? I don't know anything about this character.
There is no think about it. Valentina Allegra de Fontaine is from comics, and her her notable alias is Madam Hydra.
Interesting.
Viper is another name that she has taken on, but she's she wasn't the first Viper, but she is definitely an agent of Hydra. But she's also been affiliated with Leviathan, Janus, and Shield.
I'm curious. I'm curious if they will go the way of Hydra, or if this will be something like, obviously it's going to be some sort of evil Avengers, basically Dark Avengers, maybe the Thunderbolts. She's definitely Nick Fury in that moment, right? I'm putting together a team. Like here's my card.
Yeah.
Like that's what's happening, and I don't know yet if they're gonna go the Hydra route, but they're definitely doing something with that, and I think here for it.
I think we're going Dark Avengers because it seems like she is. I don't know. She seems to be thinking that she has control of what the Senate is doing, or can override. Like she's Palpatine right there. She's like, I am the Senate, but I don't know. Where in the MCU, where is she? What is she? What is her power? What does she control?
Right. She does seem to have knowledge of how the government's running and what's going to happen. She's like, I forget the line she says, but she's like, yeah, there's just things you don't know about, but don't worry, this is going to happen fine. Or whatever. She reassures him in a weird way. When she came to him, I thought that might actually take the wind out of the sails of the Walker story. I thought maybe that was it for him for the series. That was his villain origin, and then we were going to move on or whatever. But then they cut to him later making his own shield.
Right. Well, there was also, the next thing for him was him lying to Lamar's parents.
That's right.
And I guess sister, lying to Lamar's family. Which is just absolutely the worst.
Yeah.
If you're gonna lie about what happened, do something that helps them be more at peace. Of oh yeah, it wasn't painful. He passed in his sleep. Any other lie other than oh yeah, the guy that I killed him. So everything's good. There's other people that were there that saw that moment happen who are going to out you. You're just an asshole, John Walker. You're just an asshole.
That's fairly true. Okay, so is it time we turn to the chat and see what everybody else is saying?
Sounds good.
Let's turn to the chat. Let's bring Jay Scotty on the scene. What is happening, Jay Scotty?
A lot is happening, so I will say the quality of this episode is reflected in the amount of feedback we got. A lot of good conversations happening, so I'll go ahead and provide that caveat that I did get everybody's feedback, but unfortunately I will not be able to get to everything just because there was so much there, but I'll try to hit the most relevant stuff here.
Yeah.
So we do have Mr. Starosky coming back, repeating his little tradition from last week where he gives us his thoughts on the episode in one long-winded sentence. So let me do my best here to read this. Once again, I'm at work, so here's my feedback dump. Holy shit, the score. Bucky is officially Bakey. Speaking of Bakey, I'm shipping Shucks, Sharon, Bucky. F you lying scum John Walker. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Madam effing Hydra.
That's amazing.
I love this episode. I'm glad John's arm is broken. F you, Captain Fomerica. And then just
good.
Just to piggyback off of that, just somebody else providing their overall thoughts on the episode. Lauren Waters is saying, best episode yet in my opinion. Love finally digging into Sam's character, who I think has been criminally underserved thus far in his own show. I wish this had been the show all along, as it feels like the show as a whole has been a bit tonally inconsistent and unfocused.
I think that's true. That's definitely true. Listen to the Superhero Ethics guys. Paul, I don't know if he's in the chat today, but Paul has been really trumpeting that. The Paul Hoppy from the Superhero Ethics podcast, they've been covering this week to week. And we're going to hopefully guest over there and do a wrap-up cast of the show. But they keep talking about the same thing, how it's really tonally inconsistent. The first two episodes were one thing, and then the third and fourth were very different. And I definitely think that's true. I don't think that can even really be argued. They're very different tones, but I still like the third and fourth episode. They were great. I thought they were my favorites up until that point. I think 5 is better because I think it kind of fuses all those things together. We get the action in the beginning, but we also go back to these human character stories that are important. And I don't think we ever left those human character stories. We went into this like sort of middle point where we had all these action set pieces and big sort of events, and it's sort of like they are dealing with, like, they're back at their normal lives at the beginning of the episode, then they go off on a mission. And what I love about this is it's like we never really see that from the Avengers. This is what the Avengers do. They like go out on a big mission and then they have to go live their lives. And this has been an example of like those first 2 episodes, they're living their lives. Well, the first episode particularly. And then that third and fourth, they're off globe-trotting on an Avengers mission, for lack of a better term, even though it's not Avengers. And then now they're back in their normal lives looking for leads to see when their next mission is. And we get to see what that's really like to be an Avenger and come back to your normal lives. And I love this normal life stuff. But, like, the Avengers stuff is pretty interesting, too. Going off and fighting the Dormilaje and, like, it's all super fun to me. I like both of these tones, I guess.
I think one of the things about the normal life sequence that I just loved so completely was when Sam is sitting on the edge of the boat, like trying to use a hammer to pry up the metal railing off of the boat, and then Bucky just walks up with his metal arm and grabs it and just peels it off. It's like that's exactly what would happen for somebody who has superpowers. They would use them like. Thor would probably use his hammer to tap a nail in, or he would push it in with his thumb because he's super strong. But that's the thing. Like, they would use their superpowers to help them with whatever project they're working on. Yeah.
And then just to kind of speak to the shifting tone, someone will correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe the first 2 episodes and this episode were written by Marcus Spellman, and that just kind of speaks to tackling more of the issues like head on. In the first episode we had the issue with the banker scene. In the second episode we had the cops having that confrontation with Sam, and then obviously things came pretty much to a head with that whole scene with Isaiah Bradley today. And I think that just speaks to Marcus Spellman's perspective and sensitivity to that whole area.
Tell me what else he's been a part of, Mr. Scotty. You seem to know that.
Weirdly, he was supposed to be a part of that canceled show on HBO that Benioff and Weiss were supposed to do called Confederacy, which is just kind of strange. But I guess the thought there was if you were going to do a show about that, you at least need to have some black perspective.
Right. Looking at his IMDb, he's done Empire, Hip Hop Uncovered, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Truth Be Told. Also,
Empire's his biggest claim to fame.
It's Malcolm Spellman, by the way. It looks like.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and he's the head writer on Falcon Winter Soldier, and sorry, never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. I'll say it for the live chat. I only know that because I was arguing with someone yesterday about the show and its perspective, and I was like, clearly the writer is trying to say something about the Black experience, and that person was like, no, that line has nothing to do with being Black, and I was like, you're just wrong. The writer clearly is trying to tell you something.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring all that up is because we did get some feedback from both YouTube and the Twitch that pertain to this, and I definitely wanted to bring it up. So, first of all, we've got Buddha Baby 6
what a great screen name. Thank you for that.
Yeah, right.
Buddha Baby 6.
She says, as a Black woman in the United States, I like that we got to see a very realistic way in which people of color react to the situation. You have people like Isaiah who are saying to continue to try to fight to help these people is to not have respect for who you are and what they put us through. And then you get the people who, with the help of a group who said, no, we persevere, we help ourselves, and then we reach out and help others because that's how you make it change. And then in YouTube, Araf says, the show hasn't talked explicitly about Sam's Blackness until this episode. I am so grateful that we got it. We got that.
Me too.
We needed it said out loud that a Black Captain America, what a Black Captain America would mean for Sam in the United States.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I feel like there's so many, like, here I go making like sweeping broad strokes generalizations again, but I feel like there's so many people that, like, until it's explicitly said that, like, in the show, that a Black Captain America is not something that America would accept, or, you know, until they explicitly say, like, this thing is controversial, they'll deny that that's even a thing.
That's even part of the discussion, yeah.
Right, that it's even in the discussion on the table. Like, I'm so happy that they finally were just like, look, okay, this is it. Like, I know that the guys at the MCU cast have been saying all of this nuance is here, and they've been talking about it, because that's what those guys do. But, like, for the rest of you plebes, like...
Oh, gosh. Well,
it's clearly what the writers are thinking, right?
It's the thing that
they're
I've
talking to us.
It's the thing. I'm glad. Is that Buddha Baby that sent that in?
Buddha Baby 6.
Thank you, Buddha Baby 6. I am feeling the same way. I said this in our very first review of this, was that, like, the way they treated the banker scene was a Rorschach test for, like, a lot of these scenes are sort of this Rorschach test for, like, how you're going to view this show. And, like, you can either think that's a racist scene or not. And they left it very ambiguous. And I was saying in the first episode I wasn't happy with that. I got a lot of pushback throughout the season from listeners who said it is a good thing because you don't want the racism to be so blatant that people can't... Yeah, that it's a trope, or that people look at that racism and go, well, that's not me, so I'm okay. You know what I mean? And this show is instead, like, walked this very thin line where it's like, is this racist or is this not? You can decide. And, like, some lines are further than others. But, like, this was obviously, with this Isaiah Bradley conversation, it's very much more explicit, and I'm glad they went there. But what's interesting to me is I think the thing that it leaves on the table is not so much can Sam be the next Captain America, or will America allow it, or whatever. The question now is, does Sam want it? Like, that's really the question that Isaiah leaves, because
he says no self-respecting Black man would want to be.
Exactly.
And you can see the turmoil that leaves in Sam.
Sure.
Because, like, in that scene, you can tell he's trying so hard not to cry.
Yeah.
And he's trying so hard not to weep for Isaiah. And Isaiah says to him, you know, no self-respecting Black man would want to be Captain America. And that just throws Sam for a loop, because, you know, why wouldn't he want to be Captain America? Like, it's such a great honor to be Captain America. But then again, like, obviously, after seeing John Walker, you're a symbol for somebody that, or you're a symbol for a country that obviously, or, you know, if obvious to some, don't care about these particular people. And after hearing Isaiah's story, he's like, God, it's such a struggle to accept it, but he's kind of right. And Isaiah's like, you think times have changed? You think anything has changed? And like after watching 13th on Netflix, Ava DuVernay is an amazing storyteller, or not storyteller, but an amazing writer and director. Like after watching that, I'm like, oh shit, we haven't. It's Isaiah's right. Oh no. Like
I think Isaiah,
a lot of that guilt just kind of
sure,
pours over me.
Sure, and I think that Isaiah is obviously right in some ways, but
it is still about who you want to be.
I also am not going to sit here and say that like things are as bad as they always were. Because we are changing. We are changing slowly as a country, and like we're growing and changing. And so like I do think that Sam can step forward and not go to jail, or like Isaiah had to, I think there might be forces that push back, but I think it's possible for him. I don't think that he's right. I don't think Isaiah's right that America will never accept Sam.
I mean, things have changed, but we're not sure if it's for the better.
Well,
we hope it has.
Yeah. As much as there are still problems, absolutely, and horrible problems, and I'm definitely not saying in any way that these things are over. I do think that long arc of history bends toward justice, and things are moving in the right direction, even if we have missteps and it's the arc is long. We're going to do this, but the arc is long and it's bending toward justice. I do believe that still. But the thing that I find interesting from a character perspective here is that Sam is being told this by Isaiah, who he respects and he feels is this tragic figure, but he's being told by his best friends, Steve and Bucky, basically, like, this is your shield. Like, this is your responsibility. Steve gave this to you. You resisted it, and look what happened. It's just like someone said earlier. I think that like look what happened when Bucky throws that shield to him and Sam's wiping the blood off. It's like there's a little bit of guilt there because he let this happen because he gave up the shield, and so now he's stuck between this rock and this hard place of like he feels personally responsible for the shield and the symbol that it is, but he also is being told that no self-respecting black man would take that shield, and that is. Absolutely fascinating place to put the character, and I need him not only to make a decision, I need him to like have a really good conversation next episode about what he thinks that shield means, how he is embracing it, what it as a Captain America, who is he,
I think that's going to happen between him and Carly. I think that he's going to have a conversation with Carly in that she's going to say that symbol means, everything wrong with the world.
And I'm ready to kill you for it. And then he's going to have to tell her what that means. Yeah.
He's going to say to her something along the lines of, yes, that may be what it means to you, but what it means to me is, this, and the only way that we can fix what this means is together, by coming together to try to repair it. Like, we have to work together to repair this image. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like he's probably gonna have to fight her and put her in jail or whatever, but like I really want that conversation to happen.
There's also the conversation between Walker and him that can happen as well. And I think that all of that, I just love it, man. I love that we're coming up on a big UN Avengers heavy like let's go in and fight scene, but like we're also coming to all of these character development moments sort of like coming to a head, and we should get Walker, the perspective of Walker, the perspective of Bucky, the perspective of Sam, the perspective of Carly, like all these characters sort of like intersecting, and what does the shield mean to them, what does America mean to them.
We also got some mustache twirling in Batroc the Leaper. Mm-hmm. In that Falcon screwed me out of a bunch of money. I'm gonna kill him for it.
right? Just pure vengeance. That's a nice little added twist there.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up Batroc. We do have some feedback regarding him. Our own BVK, Brian B. Klein.
Feedback.
He said he couldn't stay long, but he has a question. Was Sharon using Batroc to help or to set up Carly, the Flag Smashers?
I think that that scene, that one little teensy little scene with Sharon, goes further in the direction of Sharon's a power broker. I think that she called Batroc to help Carly and kind of put Sam and Bucky and Walker in the position to have a conflict, a clash with Carly and the Flag Smashers in order to try to kill Carly. Like, I really think that she's the power broker.
I think that too. That made me think that too. But it's definitely possible she's just working for the power broker still. But who is the power broker and what is their end game? Like, they apparently have this like layer with satellites and like, you know, it looks like almost Avengers level tech happening around them, SHIELD level tech. Like, I don't know. What is the power broker? Who is the power broker? What is going on?
Well,
Why is the power broker?
Forgive me that I
How
can't
is the power
remember
broker?
Nobody
Forgive
ever
me that I
asked
can't
how.
remember the line of dialogue off the top of my head, but Val said something to John Walker that indicated like she had full knowledge of that whole skirmish that she shouldn't have had, and all I could think in the back of my head was the power broker is watching. Not only is the whole world watching in that episode, but we know like before that the power broker is watching was something that was said over and over again.
Ooh.
Well, that was sprayed. That was graffitied onto the walls of Madripoor. That the power broker was watching. And I think the thing that she wasn't supposed to know is that John Walker doesn't have the shield.
Oh,
She was
yes,
like,
yes.
That's
Don't
right.
worry about the shield. I know you don't have that.
Right.
And he was like,
right.
what?
Do you think that Val could be the power broker?
Nah. I think that she's another entity that the power broker is working with. I think that she's effectively another Norman Osborn at this point.
Okay.
A Norman Osborn, a Doctor Doom, a person in power somewhere.
Right.
She's part of the Cabal. That's what it is. It's the Cabal. Namor. We're getting Namor, you guys.
Mephisto confirmed.
Mephisto confirmed.
So it does just not an episode of the MCU cast without that being said at least once now.
Right.
But what? Yeah, it's an interesting point that she knew that information. We know the power broker was watching, and we know literally Sharon was watching, and Sharon was tracking all of this. So is it possible that she knows that because Val is somehow connected with Sharon? Like, even if who cares who the power broker is, that moniker, but it does seem like Sharon might be working with Val. Whatever moniker they go with.
I've got a lot of confidence that I think Val might be the power broker, because if all the vials are gone, all the serum's gone, and John Walker's the only last subject, that's why she would have such a vested interest in him, and that's why she makes herself known right then and there and wants him to trust her and see her as an ally like that, to have him right in her pocket. I mean, it only makes sense to me, but
and Julie Louis-Dreyfus, come on, we haven't mentioned it. Like, I'm really interested in the character and what's going on, but like, she's great, and she's great in a lot of things, and I'm really excited to see her in this. And that's another wonderful character who's going to be complex and charismatic and interesting to watch on top of their villainy. You know, I love that.
And she looked so. In that moment, she looked so formal, and she looked so like businesswoman and in charge. But then she also had like streaks of blue in her hair, like, woven in there. I was like, oh, she's business casual. Like, what's going on here?
Business casual with the punk hair. I like it.
Yeah, she's got all kinds of facets covered on this one. She's gonna be complex.
All right,
and then she gives the business card that's just blank.
So good, so good. What do you think? Do you think something will happen with that business card later? Like, will disappearing
shine
ink.
it under UV.
Yeah, right. Or like something happened when she needs to call him, will like something appear with coordinates or some crazy thing.
Like it's
Connection to
Wakandan
Doctor
tech.
Strange.
Yeah, or Doctor Strange tech, or Wakandan tech, or like Lord of the Rings, whatever.
Only in fire is the text revealed.
Nathaniel Muzzy did have some feedback that was pertinent to
Muzzy!
Val. And this is to Jeff specifically. He says, Jeff will know what this means, but I think we'll see Val play the Victoria Hand role in the Dark Avengers.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
I thought of Victoria Hand because of the hair. And I was actually, for a second before she said her name, I was like, is this Victoria Hand, or is this where we finally like completely break away from S.H.I.E.L.D. being a thing? Interesting.
I mean, her name does start with a V.
It does. She's got the colorful hair. She's somehow involved in these organizations. I think that's a good call, Muzzy.
Well,
It was Victoria all along.
No. Victoria Hand, though, in comics, in at least in Dark Avengers, she was more like a almost like an executive assistant of Norman Osborn.
Okay.
And I don't really see this character that JLD puts up there as being the executive assistant type. Like, she's too boss bitch in control, you know?
Well, Julia Louis
call her
Dreyfus is
JLD.
coming off of Veep, so yeah, she's not playing. Well, she was second fiddle to something.
Yeah, I was
there,
gonna say like, maybe she's exactly a Veep, you know, like exactly what she is.
Kind of exactly what she was doing.
Run through a couple more there, Jay Scotty. Let's hit a speed round.
We brought up the superhero ethics podcast, and the host of that show, our ethical panda Matthew Fox, has some feedback regarding John Walker. There is a moment in The Boys when I feel sympathy for Homelander. He's an utter monster, but it was the actions of others that made him that way. And I hate it, but feel sympathy. Walker gave me that same feeling this episode. Him shouting, "You built me," to the people in charge of that CAP program was so powerful, because he's right. He's doing exactly what they made him into. It's still 100% his fault, and it doesn't excuse him, but it makes his story tragic.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Gives him some pathos to go along with his villainy, which is just makes a better story, makes a better, more human story. I'm blown away by that character.
I'm pissed off that I can't just hate the character. Can't I just hate a character?
Right.
Please.
Let
me just not like him for all reasons.
No, that's no fun. We have been talking about the idea of a Dark Avengers or a Thunderbolts or something like that coming. This episode, to me, proves that it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Val showing up and talking to John Walker, like, this is not the end of that story. You know what I mean? Like, this is that Sam Jackson moment of, like, I'm building a team. And, like, we know that's coming. And I don't think we're going to get any more of it in this series. I think that's coming in a future movie or series. And I am so here for that. I feel like, I know that spoiler alert for Mandalorian announcements. Never mind. Don't even worry about it. At the end of Mandalorian season 2, they end the series with with a series announcement. They announced another series as a post-credit sequence of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And like, I could totally see them doing that with this show. Like, there's so many little threads left undone that I totally see them being like, whatever, Thunderbolts coming in, or whatever. Like, I could totally see that. Or a movie. Like, I love that this is all connected. It's so much fun.
And I love how, like, thematic that would be, because we got that announcement with all these, like, new series that we can expect, and the fact that, like, the Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers are all, like, centered around, like, subterfuge and whatnot. Like, that would be so cool if it was just the, like, Dark Horse series or movie that we knew nothing about until it was time for it. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Final piece of feedback is very appropriate here. Waterfall Angel Sharon says, "What's in the box?" Definitely a Captain America suit.
That's definitely a new cap suit.
Definitely a new cap suit.
We got a little flash of white when he opened the box, and that's all I need. Confirmed. It's the new cap suit. It's got wings. He's he's going to be red, white, and blue Falcon. For the longest time, whenever I was like, whenever I was kind of ribbing Marvel, because they listen to me, I was ribbing Marvel for turning Falcon into Captain America. I kept calling him Captain Falcon, because I'm an asshole that does that. But no, this is his Captain America suit. Like this is where it is.
Yeah.
You don't think there's a slight possibility it just might be a badass set of Wakandan wings, kind of like the Midnight Angels from Ta-Nehisi Coates' run?
No.
Okay.
Nah. not for Sam.
I do think it's possible that it is a badass set of Wakandan wings, but I do think the color scheme will match his.
Why can't we have both?
Exactly. Like I really want him to have both. I don't want him to stop his. He's just so good. And like when he tells Torres he can keep the wing, or like keep him, I do hope that means Torres is coming back as Falcon. But I don't want that to mean that Sam's flying days are over. Sam is so good at it. He's so cool. Actually, I was talking to Alyssa last night about this. It's actually funny. I talked to two of my friends last night who are less in Alyssa, my girlfriend, and then another friend, Spencer, who are less into this stuff. And I was like talking about how people are pushing back on Sam being the new Cap. And I was like, I just think it's stupid. And he's like, yeah, but I don't really want him to stop flying though. And so did Alyssa. Alyssa was like, the only reason I don't want him to be Cap is because I don't want him to stop flying. I love his suit and everything. And I was like, that's funny. Like as non-comics people or like whatever, it's like they think you just have to be Captain America. You have to be like a ground guy with a shield. But I just think that can absolutely combine those things and be like, like Captain Falcon, like you said. Like I want that. I want Captain America Falcon. Falcon Punch. Falcon shield throw, like I want that. I want him like in the air with the shield doing everything. I want it.
I want him racing in a car. No. In the comics, he still has his wings. He's still got the Sam Wilson Falcon history, and he can still fly. Like him becoming Captain America makes Captain America more powerful, in my opinion.
Right.
Because like
with
now
the exception,
he also has the air.
He can fly, but he also doesn't have the super soldier serum in the comics.
In the MCU.
In the comics either. I'm pretty sure. We talked about this last week. Somebody gave feedback on it.
No, that was Eli. Eli doesn't have it.
No, I'm pretty sure. At least I don't know. At some point he probably gets it. Who knows?
Muzzy?
Muzzy? Anyone? Anyone? So we'll settle this. I thought for sure he did not have the serum, at least at first. I don't know. I've read a few of those. But I may be wrong. Someone will send us feedback.
I really need to go back and read that new, like all new, all different Captain America series, because that I'm kind of like, sadly I'm behind on that. I was not always the biggest Captain America fan, so when they came out with that, I was like, cool, that's fine, but I'm gonna go read Jane Foster Thor.
I would just like to say that the what's in the box question, I think it's possible that it's a robotic Wakandan replica of Pepper Potts' head.
Oh God. Why would you do that, Matt?
So dark.
I made it a Wakandan replica instead of
her actual head, but it's still bad.
See, now you went there.
It's still bad.
So the Kamoyo beads, like making the shape of her head.
Yeah. Those like, it's just like a cool thing they sent. Like, look at these new, I don't know, paperweights we made.
Subscribe to Goop.
Subscribe to Goop. Those are different beads. We'll be back soon, guys. Thank you for joining us on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. If you want to join us next week, I'm so excited about the finale. We will be join the Stranded Panda chat. It is in the show notes. You can click on the Stranded. It's facebook.com/group/spchat. And we'll be posting the scener links and everything else there. I'll also put the scener link in the show notes today. So you can go follow us there, and on at 8 a.m. Central on next Friday, we'll be watching the finale together, and then we'll be going immediately into a podcast on Twitch and YouTube. So come join us we're all over the place. We're doing this thing, making this podcast. And thank you, Jay Scotty, for being with us. Tell the people what you've been up to.
Yeah. If you guys are a fan of comic book stuff, it is a great time to be alive. Not only do we have this phenomenal series, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, dropping every Friday, but there's also a great series on Amazon Prime called Invincible, which if you're not watching, I highly recommend. And I've got a podcast that I do with fellow panda Zuhair Ali called Animation Deliberation. It's the podcast where we take action animation and cartoons seriously, but not too seriously. So if that's your thing, please come join us there. We're a new show, but we've already gotten a lot of good feedback. Appreciate the listenership already, and I'm really excited for the opportunity. So check it out, please.
Yeah, I'm super excited that you guys got such a cool show like Invincible so early in your run of you guys just started the podcast, and then Invincible dropped, and everyone was like, the pandas need to cover Invincible. And I was like, well, there's a podcast for that. We have an animation podcast now that just started, so that's super fun. So everybody join them. Just search Animation Deliberation in your podcast app and subscribe. Jeff, thanks for doing a podcast with me today.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, you want to keep going for a little bit? You want to do this again?
On Monday. Yeah, Monday night.
Okay.
Monday.
I meant like in general. We should probably do this again.
Oh yeah,
'cause this was fun.
This was fun. We'll do it. Maybe
we should make a thing out of it.
Maybe once or twice a week.
Just a couple of guys with a mutual podcast.
All right. Well, these three guys are gonna go. Peace.
Until next time, true believers.
All right. If you guys would start the saving process on your files and get those to me as quickly as possible. For those of you in the chats, I'm going to start a Zoom call. You guys can all join if you like. And anybody that wants to be a part of the Zoom call, we're going to hang out a little more and just kind of have a little post-show chat. Let's see here. Woo. I feel like I'm being deceptive now that I'm actually using like a picture of an office behind me. Like I feel like that looks pretty good, you know? Like it looks like a real office. The green screen's really doing the work there. But then I joined the Zoom call and it's like just a green screen.
Lies, deception.
Matt's been lying to us. Come on, I'm like Marvel, right? Keep lying to me, Matt. Keep lying to me. That's what they all scream. Nope, no one's screaming that. Oh, my bad. By the way, if you are in the live watches on Twitch, the live watches that we do here are. I just dropped the Zoom link in both places, but the live watches are supported by your tips and subscriptions on Twitch. So if you get a chance to throw some subscriptions and throw some tips in, that'd be very helpful. You can do that with money, or you can do that with your Amazon Prime subscription. Allows you to do one per month for free, and you can literally just give us $2.50 of the Bezos's money every month. So Bezos bucks. Yeah. Odin Sword coming in. Jay Scotty coming in to the live here. To the Zoom. So join the Zoom. Anybody that would like to.
Hang up on Skype then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We could do that. You're probably being heard twice right now. I didn't even think about that. Boop. And the audio is
hearing your audio from Skype. Like I heard Scotty even though I left the Skype call. Like, what?
What is happening?
What?
What's up, Zuhair? What's up, Odin?
Am I actually Odin or am I my real name?
It says Odin Sword.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it worked this time.
Thank you.
Well,
nice green screen. I was like, God damn, I gave him a little bit of money and he upgraded out of the trailer park into the Taj Mahal. What is going on, dude? What?
We took that and multiplied it.
Hey, man.
I was like,
yeah, it's
okay.
Like, it's like the loaves and
now
fishes,
that I see
man.
This, I'm like, okay, you got Walmart fucking drapes. I got it.
That's exactly what I have. Look at this. I literally have a clothesline running across my room. I put a clothesline up, and I have a little $20 green screen that is dangling, and I got 2 of them, and they run across, and I got another one dangling. This is actually not even a green screen. This is a piece of fabric from, like, whatever, Joann's fabric, and it's just dangling over my TV, and there's one dangling over my bed.
I did the same thing when I was on Twitch. I basically took from Walmart, I just plugged it into my my ceiling, and I just draped it down behind me, and was like, "Well, this is my green screen."
Yeah, man.
So I see what you're working with.
Good enough. Yeah, no, I very much appreciate everybody's and yours and everyone else's donations to the cause. I do not live in a Taj Mahal, I promise.
I know that's what confused me for a second. I was like,
I'm so glad it worked.
him.
I'm so glad that it looked that good. That's great. That's wonderful.
Just a green screen. I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat. I promise I'm not a cat. That's just a funny thing. I just can't.
You should just randomly troll people and just throw up different spots on your green screen. Like next week, you'll be at like the Taj Mahal.
Like literally the Taj Mahal. Just
and it'd be like, yeah, I'm here. I'm on location in the Taj Mahal. So
Let's see here.
sorry, guys.
Yeah, put up a mic. Like hold up a mic. Like, here's Matt on location.
Yes.
Oh man. Let's see. Oh, so what did you guys think? People that just joined. Welcome, Kai. How you doing?
Do you think? Okay, the only thing that confuses me with that girl from Seinfeld is the purple hair. That's the only thing that confuses me. Because Viper doesn't have anything to do with purple because she's green. And Madam Hydra, yes. I played HeroClix. I did have a Madam Hydra. But I'm like, the purple is the only thing that just throws me off.
I think is it a reference to Victoria Hand, you think? Like Muzzy said?
I don't know.
Because she has purple, right? Am I wrong on that?
It looks purple to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked kind of purple. I mean, somebody said blue. I think you guys said in the podcast blue, which I think you're colorblind because that's purple.
Thanks.
But
thanks for just saying that about me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I
had
a friend.
Welcome, Rob. Welcome.
What's up?
Welcome in. Welcome in.
I wasn't expecting to want to cry that much so early into the episode, like just from the fight scene alone. Like there's just so much emotion in that.
Mm-hmm. There really was.
It's interesting how just kind of breaking down the fight scene a little bit. Like it's wild with how much they were trying to protect Walker and just trying to like disarm him and just get the shield away more. The way they were fighting, they genuinely didn't want to hurt him.
Disarmed him.
Ha.
Yeah, it became quite literal later. I yelled when that snap happened. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, only one way to do this. Crack.
Ooh. Yeah.
Falcon using his jetpack as much as he does, even without the wings, is just always so cool to watch.
But did you notice? Did you notice that it was also like kind of the same vibe that we got from the Marvel MCUs, where all 3 of them showed up in like a broken down garage of a place that repairs cars, and then all of a sudden now they're in that same spot from Winter Soldier and those kind of things.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, like the scene from Civil War when
Civil War. Yeah.
They asked Bucky about his mom, like Steve's mom's line and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they all. So it was like it was almost a callback.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that when Falcon and Bucky were fighting with John Walker, and John Walker kind of like shocked Bucky's arm or whatever, I thought it would have a little more of an impact on him, because it's almost like the Wakandans are able to disable him, and now John Walker is able to disable him. And I thought it would like maybe send him into more of like a, should I even be fighting anymore? But then he was just fine. So
Well, I think
kinda
that's a
expecting-
callback too.
I feel like
I
that
think
was an
that's
accident. Because like it was when he hit the pole that like
Yeah,
there was an electric spark.
Yeah, he hit like a
true.
transformer or something on
yeah,
on
like
the
that
pole.
arm hit it, and it was like it shocked there, and he was like, "Gah, gah, 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 gah." Like,
But I think
I
that's a callback too, because the Winter Soldier,
yeah, when
Black
Nat put the-
Widow,
Nat
yeah.
put the thing on him, and it shocked him.
and he
I'm gonna
just
have to
went.
rewatch the.
And it was like,
I'm gonna have to rewatch the episode because after seeing John Walker in front of all those senators and everything, like, it blew me away.
He needs
That's
help.
pretty good.
That's what he needs. He needs
Yeah.
help.
He really does. He needs therapy.
Hmm.
Like so much of this show could be fixed by fucking therapy.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I remember I was waiting for that
You able to hear
VA
me?
counselor.
Bare,
Yeah.
we
can
can,
hear you
but
now.
barely.
I was waiting for that Bucky and Sam VA counselor kind of speech, and we finally got it at the end of this episode, and it was like it right. You could tell why Sam was doing it. He's great at that, and you know I like the fact that they waited this long because earlier in the episode, when Bucky got the shield and laid it down by Sam, I took two things from it. It's yours, but you still have blood on your hands because you gave it to John Walker. But then at the end, and I think he meant that, but at the end he forgave Sam for doing it because he realized that at the end that he did it for the right reasons and all the Isaiah storyline.
Yeah.
I think he kind of, that part of his inner turmoil kind of, he's over that now. Now he just has to work on, you know, himself and, you know, so I like the full circle of that storyline.
I think that's so true, and this is my theory about what's in the box. I think it is like it's the wings, it's the suit, but it's very specifically a Captain America suit because I think one of the themes we've been really developing here is that the American government giving people the captain suit is totally fucked up. You know, totally messed up. That they, the way they gave it to Walker was totally wrong. That like they have all these wrong ideas about it, and so for it to be Wakandans to be the ones saying like, you think there should be a Captain America and it should be you. You know,
That's a great
already
point.
there's been such this great discussion about like jurisdiction and who has jurisdiction, and Jerome Lage saying like, where we are, we have jurisdiction. Like to me, there's something so powerful about this nation that's all about like Black pride and African pride, saying if the world is going to have a Captain America, it should be you, and we as non-Americans pick that. And I got chills at that.
Going back to with Bucky, you know, giving Sam the shield and then like kind of realizing, you know, I think they both kind of met in the middle because like Sam did it for the right reasons, but he also kind of realized he had to take on that role, and Bucky realized how much he was asking of Sam, and he like Sam probably wouldn't have been able to handle it up until like he saw what actually happened with the shield without him, you know.
It's also
So
a
they
matter
kinda-
of Bucky trying to finish his own issues as well, because he still feels like with him having the nightmares and having that resentment that he still has his own mission, and he can't represent what the shield represents without being able to take care of that first. So he mentions that, like, you know, Captain America had, or Steve Rogers had the conversation with him about what the plan was and why he was fit to do it. So it was respecting what his best friend wanted from him and realizing that, like, his mission isn't to be Cap right now. His mission is to, like, establish his own identity as Bucky Barnes before he can be a hero to the public.
Yeah, because this therapy underlying, like, I don't know if you maybe some others have been through therapy, but you know the first thing they tell you, it's like you can't run away from it. You have to face it head on in order to get it, you know, to put it behind you. So both Bucky and Sam needed to attack these issues head on in order to get over them. And I think now Sam realizes, like, all right, I got over that. It's not my shield, it's Steve. But now it's like, you know, his line was like, I thought I could save the world, but, you know, as corny as that sounds, but, you know, all the struggle of my people for the last 300 years, 500 years, it's not worth giving up. That makes it even more important to keep fighting. So I think that's driving him to the shield. Like, I can make this shield, you know, a uniting symbol instead of a divisive one, which I think is, you know, reason why he picked the mantle back up.
Yeah. I think the therapy point is so important, and I so loved that scene of Sam telling him, like, yes, like, working through your issues and guilt and therapy is important, but it can't be about making you feel better, you know, because I think this is something like that I know I went through, and I know a lot of people, when it's about therapy, to look at terrible things you've done and make amends, you know, going to say sorry to people who don't really want to hear it from you, and you're reopening old wounds just to make yourself feel better. Like, that's the thing people want to do, but it doesn't help. And the way they framed it of, you have to find the people who need you to, like, need that catharsis from you, or you can be of service to them. That to me, like, showed that, like, the people writing this have spent real time either in therapy or with a therapist helping them, and it was such a nuanced and powerful understanding of what actual real apology looks like.
Yeah, I loved how that scene is, like, juxtapositioned against his therapy session with the actual licensed counselor. When she asks him about nightmares, there are no nightmares. When Sam asks him about nightmares, he immediately says every single night. Like, he doesn't hold back at all.
Yep.
Oh, well, he doesn't say every single night. He says all the time. But
all the time.
It's roughly the same.
Jeff, you're always correcting me. Get used to it.
I'm sorry, you know.
Sniper.
The one question I have is, either Sam and Bucky, did they travel coach or first class to get to these different spots?
I think Bucky just hopped on the back of Sam's wings, and they just took, you know, that's
the wings were gone, so that means he had to travel on a plane.
Oh, on the way back
after the fight, yeah, because they had to go to different spots. They had to go to Maryland. They had
they probably took a F-18 or whatever.
C-130.
C-130, like the military.
Took a fucking fighter jet.
But how?
That would be badass.
I don't know.
You could be my wingman anytime, Bucky.
I mean, like, they just showed up. Like, Bucky ended up showing up there. I mean, like, is he sitting in coach in the middle seat going, like, I could do better than this? Because they don't have any money, because Bucky doesn't have any money.
No, see, the C-130
not
is the
Bucky,
same.
but the other guy.
Yes.
Sam doesn't have any money. He
Sam's
could put
clearly
that
still
money
work-
towards his boat.
Sam is clearly still, like, connected with the military in some way, and so I'm guessing, him and Bucky probably just got on some kind of military transport.
You know, it's funny we're thinking that Bucky got, like, wings or the box or whatever from Wakanda, but, like, what if they already had the wings for him and the favor was that he needed a ride back home?
Yeah, right.
Called in a favor.
I need an Uber.
Yeah, it was the Uber receipt inside the box.
Yeah, it was hey,
like,
you've got
that, by the way.
You've got that plane right there. You're going to the raft. Can you go just a touch further?
Drop me off.
And take
I've
me
jumped
home?
out of a plane before. You don't need to land.
Yeah, right. I'll be fine. You just gotta get over it.
Drop me in the water.
Oh my God, we forgot to talk about Torres being like, "Oh hey, you made it. You got your sleeve back."
Yeah,
you got your.
That was a good one.
That was hilarious.
Good to see you survived, jerk.
Oh, before I forget, I actually got a text from one of my friends, and one of my work friends, her boyfriend watched the episode, and he thinks that maybe not in the finale, but like eventually if Taurus returns, he might. What if he gets like Vulture's wings? Because Vulture's in prison, so somebody would have his wings, right? Like the military.
Oh man, that might be. That sounds scary. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's too meta.
Vulture's wings were so imposing and like real scary.
So
they were not hero wings at all.
Especially when they cut the web, it was like, ugh.
Oh yeah, when he lifted it up, it was like snip. Like, oh no. Wings don't come with scissors. No.
So in the next episode, what is the over/under? And I put it at 0.05 of we will hear Hell Hydra in this next episode.
I hope so much not. I'm
very low.
We defeated Hydra like 5 times by now. Give us someone else.
What do you want, AIM? Come on.
Leviathan.
Just nothing to hear?
How you doing, Lane?
Good.
trying out my new iPad to see if I can zoom and chat and everything on it.
I like the background.
Right.
I like the background a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, my boring tan office wall. I just couldn't do it.
I liked your. I thought for a second you were. You weren't wearing a shirt. I was like, all right, Lane's.
Yeah, the way the lighting was happening.
The way the lighting a minute ago before you put the background on. Oh.
Room shirt I got from.
Oh, right on.
Amazon yesterday.
Ooh.
Nice. Finally canceled my monthly Marvel shirt. I've got too many now. Not that that's possible, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh man, Kyle Ray in the chat is saying, like, does Wakanda believe that they own the shield? Like, America doesn't own the shield. There's that legal gray area. He says he feels like Wakanda looks at it like taking a nickel from Scrooge's vault in DuckTales. And if they really cared about it, though, they would have tried to get it back from Steve a while ago.
Shit. Scrooge McDuck would fuck you up if you took a nickel out of his vault.
Yeah, he would. That's.
but I think them leaving the shield with Sam is kind of echoes what T'Chaka said at the end of Black Panther. Like, we're opening up our borders to help the world instead of keeping everything to ourselves. So maybe that's like a sign of, that there's America's handout. Yeah.
That's not a good faith.
But
Yeah,
also,
it's like
Wakanda,
that's what we're going to
Wakanda, I don't
contribute.
think owned that shield. That shield wasn't a Wakanda shield because that was destroyed in Endgame.
I think they still
Vibranium
take
is
pride in
inherently
the
Wakandan.
Yeah, their thing is all
Technically, but I
vibranium.
don't think that is
The
vibranium
meteorite,
one.
as I learned in trivia, the meteorite landed in Wakanda.
and if you remember what is it, Viv? Is that her name? Vivian?
Val?
Val, yeah.
Val.
She said
Val.
it's a lot of technical glitches, but the shield doesn't belong to the government. And I think
Legal
that's a
gray
shout out saying, it's not theirs. It's, you could say technically it's Wakanda's, but it's just the people's
You could even
shield,
say it's
maybe.
Howard
The
Stark's if you want to go the Tony Stark route.
Yeah, I think it's
I gotta go,
Howard
guys. My
Stark.
clients here. Have a good one.
I think it's
see you
Howard
soon.
Stark's. I think Cap went back and grabbed his original shield.
Could have been. Could have been. The real question that I have is, where did Howard Stark get the original shield from? Way back in 30s, 40s. Like, he said that's our only sample. Like, where did that come from? Where'd you get it?
So
Yeah, I've always wondered
Maybe
that.
an arms dealer.
Colonialism? I mean, like.
Ulysses Claw's father, maybe.
Yeah, Claus.
Yeah, we've talked about it a good bit. That was a long time ago. Like, I'd love to see if I'd love to know if like we've speculated about it on the podcast before that like it could have been a Wakandan help for the war effort or something. Like maybe they gave it to Howard Stark as some sort of help.
Here, this will help. A frisbee.
Well, back
And we know that little bits of vibranium have gotten out of Wakanda, like the axe that was in the British Museum in the Black Panther movie.
Yep.
So
Right,
Yeah.
that's a good call.
That's fair. That's
well,
fair.
back when Infinity War came out, I was like in freshman year, I think, and I had this whole theory based off of like Captain America and Black Panther running, in like the final fight, and they both kind of jump, and it seems like they're going the same speed, jumping the same. So I thought maybe Howard Stark somehow got a little bit of vibranium along with or maybe like Erskine and Stark, and I don't know. It was just all based off of the fact that they jumped kind of similar.
That actually would be really interesting if we found out like retroactively the heart-shaped herb played some kind of factor into the super soldier serum. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they had some sort of secret ops mission where Howard Stark and Erskine went with a bunch of like other World War II soldiers to try and steal some vibranium just to get help for World War II.
Or to make a
Especially 'cause-
deal with like T'Chaka's father or grandfather.
Ooh, yeah.
especially because if there is a connection between super soldier and heart-shaped herb, you can take away the powers of the heart-shaped herb, and so it would be like, does that mean there is some way to take the super soldierness away from John Walker?
Yeah.
That'd be
Done.
cool.
Put it to his.
Okay, that's a what if cartoon.
Or, what if it was what if to add on to like the World War II aspect? I just realized this because maybe it could have been like back in World War II, because I don't think it would have been T'Chaka. It would have been like T'Challa's grandfather, great grandfather, however old. And
T'Challa something.
Yeah.
Titches.
Based on the naming scheme.
T'Chaka guy, but yeah. So what if it was like? So like Japan at the end of the war was still like a threat, and like what if it was Wakanda was scared? I mean, I guess they wouldn't actually know. They probably wouldn't be scared of. Yeah, I don't actually know.
Nobody's scared of Wakanda.
Yeah.
Wakanda rules everything. Wakanda could take over the universe if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the question too. Is like, when did their like what's their technological advancement? How did it advance? Like, did they? How much of that did they already have way back then? You know, like how much of that technology?
Well, and they could have not wanted to be even discovered by Japan, because if Japan was trying to expand its empire into Africa, maybe, and Wakanda said, if you guys use the atom bomb on Japan, we'll, make a super soldier for you.
It doesn't matter, because Namor is going to come in and he's going to attack Wakanda, and he's going to try to take over it. Namor is going to bring his troops, and that's going to be the ultimate battle.
I mean, the Wakandan military certainly got badly hit by the events of Infinity War. And granted, that was 5 years ago, and the blip and all that, but I think, there's interesting stories there.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happened to Wakanda during said blip. Like, who took over? That's 5 years that you haven't had your monarch. Like, somebody else has to step up.
I think that thankfully the Wakanda series is coming, so we'll be able to. Hopefully, they'll retroactively tell some stories, which would be kind of cool.
Vermilion1 is still in the Twitch chat here. I had to bring this up. This is pretty interesting. The way that the MCU treats the Wakandans' relationship with the Vibranium reminds me of the Maasai people and their state of mind toward their cattle. I don't know if that was any kind of inspiration for the Wakandans, but it reminds me of them.
I can see that. But part of what it had me thinking about, and I hate that Harry Potter is the first example that comes to mind about this, but I know other fantasy novels have gone with this idea that, that in that world, the goblins feel that like anything that they make is they someone buys it means they loan it to them, but they still own it and they always own it. And I think again, there's a lot of problems with the J.K. Rowling universe, but a lot of other fantasy tropes have done into that idea. And it's fascinating, I think, to hear that there's something in the Maasai people, which I'm assuming is a group in Africa. I'm not.
I believe so.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not the most knowledgeable there, but it sounds right.
But
Foxy, never apologize for bringing up a Harry Potter reference.
Fair enough.
I think it was my wife that said to me that all vibranium is on loan from Wakanda, and I was like, oh shit! Like, you just blew my mind.
Starbucks makes reusable vibranium straws.
Well, seeing as the shield is the only thing that we know
have you ever looked up
of Wakanda.
Have you?
What'd you say, Lane? Go for it, Lane.
What's that?
Have you ever looked up like exactly in Google and everything, like how much money Wakanda has compared to every superhero that they could kind of compare to, like Batman and everything? Like Wakanda has like not billions or trillions. They have it quintillions, I think.
Well, you would have to compare it to countries, not just single superheroes.
That's,
but
it's ridiculous.
But that's what they were saying. Like,
that's probably prior to them opening their borders after T'Challa was like, yeah, we're gonna start helping other countries and be more open with like our country. So
yeah, I love the story of Wakanda. I also have an international economics background, and like, there's nothing about that makes any sense in terms of how it works. I happily just hand wave it away, but no, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Wakanda will be riding that #1 spot for a very long time, but they will, like, as soon as they start not being a secret, like, insanely highly advanced technological society, as soon as they share that with the rest of the world, it's gonna like slowly come down a little bit.
They already are sharing.
I think the demand. I think that the demand is going to go up, and that's gonna raise the prices a lot. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna
it'll
go down.
boost it. It'll boost it, like when we bought Twitter stocks and stuff like that.
Because
We're like,
before,
hey.
no one knew about their technology, but they were still raking in the dough because of what they had, and now people are going to want it, and it's it's going to be supply and demand.
I don't know the idea of raking the dough when it comes to Wakanda. Like, I don't know that they rake in the dough. They just have
not raking it.
They
but
just have like a
they
lot of
just have it.
technology that, like, yes, if it were on an open market capitalist society, like, yes, it would be like worth a lot of money. But they're not selling their vibranium or their technology. It's all being used for the good of their people. It seems like. So I don't know that they're. I don't know that I don't know that it's worth any money until they open it up.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I mean about the hand wavy economics part. It's the idea that they like became that wealthy while also being totally cut off from anyone who might like just
trade with them. Yeah.
Hand wave it. It's awesome. It looks great. Don't think too much about the economics.
I mean, they could probably produce like I forget because they think they're. I mean, somebody says like in the in Civil War they're like a country of what do they say, like a country of sheep herders or something like that because they don't know about their technology. It is possible that they were like using their technology to be able to produce very well like whatever else they're producing for the world, and they've done okay for themselves, but like with actual currency, but they don't maybe need that currency, so maybe they've just been able to store it up.
Because if you think about it, they're constantly mining it, so they're constantly getting more and more vibranium, so that will be able to at least for their own country, they have their own currency, so
But that's also not a renewable resource, like mines eventually go empty. So it's something else that I was thinking about a lot, and this is getting much more political, and so I don't want to bring it up on MCU, but we're just chatting with friends here. When John Walker is saying like, why did they make me do it? Both about the terrorist he killed, or the freedom fighter he killed, but then also about like Sam and Bucky. Like he's constantly saying like, you made me do it. You put me in that situation. Like. I'm living in Minnesota. I'm like 5 miles from Brooklyn Center. I work a lot in Brooklyn Center where the most recent killing happened and some of the other stuff. And I just obviously all that happened since the show, but even before the show, like that's often been one of the first refrains that happens when people like there's a killing by police is, if the victim hadn't done this, if the victim hadn't resisted, if they made the cop do it. And I feel like this show has been so aware of these things that to me that line is very intentional of having Walker like he clearly has some guilt, but he's also very much being like no it's their fault. If they had just respected my authority, if they I'm Captain America, if they respected that, and to me that just really hit hard.
That's how guilty people project.
Yep. Yeah, it's not my fault. You made me do this.
Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, you're from Minnesota, and I kind of.
He's not.
Just like that because I'm from Iowa.
I live in Minnesota. I'm not from here, but yes.
But the one thing I was kind of thinking about, now I'm probably going to forget it. Yeah, I forgot it. I'll mute myself.
Well, if it comes back.
Yes.
That shield doesn't always bounce back like that. Sometimes it gets stuck in a tree.
Yeah.
You gotta force it out.
Send it in for them to talk about on Monday. We want to hear the thought.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, wait, so is it true that if you do enough push-ups and enough running in one day, you too can do a triple front flip and then catch a metal frisbee?
I don't think it was supposed to be one day. He's wearing a lot of different outfits if it's one day.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I feel like you gotta.
Did that look like Anthony Mackie? I thought for a couple of the like little clips, it didn't look like actually Anthony Mackie.
Oh,
it
sure
looked
they
like
might have
somebody
been.
else.
I'm sure
It
I'm
looked
sure he didn't
like
do
a
all
stunt
those
guy.
things.
It looked like a
Stuntman.
What were you gonna say,
Yeah.
Lane? You keep getting talked over. What were you gonna say?
Oh, that's all right. I was just saying, I feel like they need to put the magnetic shield attacher for, especially since you have to catch that thing by putting your hands through the leather straps on the back.
It's insane.
Yeah, I feel like they need to do the magnetic thing like they have
like
some of the other stuff.
The straps are inside this curved
Dome
thing. Like you have to go at the right moment. You have to go up inside it when it's perfectly turned the right way to get inside those straps and catch it. Like it's bananas.
While it's spinning.
No sense.
Well, that one was probably Stark tech though, because Cap's shield got destroyed, right? Or no, wait, because he said he grabbed his, or maybe
Cap
he
shield got
grabbed his
cut in
old
half,
one.
but it was Cap that brought it. Like Cap brought it to him and was like, this is yours.
Yeah.
But we don't know
It's
where
never-
he got that shield from.
Exactly. And we probably never will.
So
And-
okay, here's what it is. The inside where the straps are mounted spins independently of
Oh.
the rest of the shield, right? So when they throw it, it just kind of hangs out in the right orientation, so they could just be like, yeah, and grab it.
Yeah,
out of
what's
the air.
that technology? Is like you could like
It's like
the whole
spinners.
yeah
Fidget spinners,
gyroscope,
yes.
like a gyroscope.
gyroscope.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
They make such a big deal of the camera showing us like the clamps that hold the middle and outside of that shield together. I was wondering why. Like we're so focused on that, but that makes sense.
Maybe it's so that we can look at John Walker's half-assed, hacked-together bullshit shield and be like,
So, like,
"You are a liar! You're lying to yourself! Like that is not it."
I love the Wish.com shield that post that somebody put out.
Well, I think
today.
that just highlights the difference between Sam and John. Sam's willing to put in the work. John just felt, or not ordained. What's that word? Like
Entitled.
Appointed.
entitled. Yeah, appointed. Like, oh, I don't. That's it. I'm Captain America. Sam still feels like he needs to, keep working at it. Keep working at it.
Yeah. Every day he's gonna have to keep earning that.
Yeah.
That
And that's
title.
why. Yeah, and that's why I'm like,
Fucking
I don't
montage
like
every day.
the magnetic. Like I could see the Wakanda's doing something like that, like some crazy thing on his thing, which is cool. But I like him putting in the work and not taking the easy way out, but like earning it. Like I'm catching this. I'm catching this the way it's supposed to be.
No, not yet.
Yeah. It just the physics of it are a little suspect.
Matt, I did want to let you know I got you my audio.
Thank
All right,
you.
folks. I need to get some actual work done. Have a good day, everyone.
Boo,
Adios,
actual
Fox.
work.
Be well.
Bye.
See you, Fox.
Looks like mine's
And
updated or uploaded as
It
well.
was
Yep,
Oh,
I got it downloaded. I'm putting it in there now, and I'm about to go to work editing it. And yeah, well, guys, thanks for joining for the podcast. All those on the live watch and those here in Zoom. I guess we're gonna drop the live watch. Thank you for joining, everybody. We'll be back next week and Monday night with more podcast.
More of this.
Oh, more. A lot of people said bye, didn't they? I didn't even hear everybody leave. All right. Peace.
Until next time.